to the spot where the mics are hot. Every word we drop got flow like a shot. Got stories to tell and jokes that hit hard. Come join the fun, it's a brand new yard. We bring the vibes, the beats won't stop. Tune in now, we rise to the top. Laugh, cry, shout, feel every drop. This podcast here is cream of the crop.
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to another R2J podcast, and today's special guest is Nancy. What's up, Nancy?
Hey, Robin. Thank you so much for having me here again.
Yeah, thank you for coming back again. Just for everybody to know, let them know who you are, so that way they might not know who you are.
Yeah, sounds good. Hi, my name is Nancy, and I'm a local business owner here in Southeast Texas. I'm an accountant and a financial analyst. I do taxes, I do accounting, bookkeeping, and payroll. That's what I try to focus on.
Yeah, ever since I had you on, you're my tax girl now.
Yeah, and I appreciate you for that.
Yeah, and then also, like we talked about, trying to start a new business as well too, called R2J Dirt Work. So eventually we're working on that. So that's what we want. The main topic we're going to talk about, I guess, starting a business and probably talk a little bit about taxes behind the business. All right?
Yeah, sounds good.
So how does somebody create a business if they don't know the process?
Yeah, so first I do want to say that I'm not a lawyer, but I do help small business out. So like you, if it's somebody that's just a single owner, or maybe if it's just 2 or 3 partners. Yeah. If I have maybe 4 partners or more, I do recommend that they go to a lawyer to be more structured, because there's more things involved. Like if they would want to dissolve the company, that you want to make sure all that is in writing.
Yeah.
But usually for small businesses, a lot of my clients is single member or maybe a married couple or 2 friends that want to open a business. Then I go ahead and start that process for them. And here in Texas, you apply with the Secretary of State. So like, for example, you want to talk about like what we did for you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Would that be good? Yeah. So whenever you wanted to open your company, I ask for the client to give me names that they want to use. And then I go to the website and make sure that those names are available. And then we apply to get the website.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We apply to get your company registered here in Texas.
Yeah, because once you get that, then you need to get the EIN number.
EIN number. Yeah. So once your LLC is approved, then you go ahead and get your EIN number. And there's also some reports that have to be done every year. So there's letters that come in the mail that you have to send me, so I can make sure that I do those reports every year to keep your company stable. So here in Texas, you don't have to pay every year to keep your company. You just have to do those reports to make sure that you're still alive.
Yeah. And I think we discussed this last time when I tried to open up a bank account at 5 Point. They wanted an extra form, some certificate of affirmation or formation of something identity.
It might have been an operating agreement too. Some banks ask for that. So whenever there's multiple members in the company, they want an operating agreement, and that document says like how much percentage each person has and all the details about the company. So if you're only one member, then you really don't need that. But if there's multiple members, then you would need.
I know 5 Point, they were asking for me about it. It was like, I'm just me for myself. I think I got it. I think I had it on my other phone.
Yeah, usually that's what I send you once you're approved is a certificate of formation and a certificate of fact. Yeah, is what comes in.
Okay, yeah. Because like I said, they were giving me issues, so that's why I went to Poor Nature's CU Credit Union. Yeah. So I will use them for the podcast. But I'm going to try to use 5 Point for this skid steer business I'm trying to start off. Just because since that's the bank I use, it's more easier, and I have all the loans already with them. So I guess, is it better to keep a company within one bank, I want to say?
Yeah, that's usually what I always have my go-to bank, which is First Financial. Shout out to them. I worked there for over 8 years, and I bank there, and I send my clients there. But I do let them know if they already have a relationship established somewhere. Sometimes it's easier to get loans and to grow with that same bank, because that bank already has all that information.
Yeah. And I'm guessing if I want to go a route where I want to borrow some money too, you'll get SBA loan, I guess.
Yeah, or if that's the thing, if you want to establish a relationship at a bank, then that's what you want to do, is go ahead and open an account so they can start seeing your movement, so you can later apply for a loan there.
Yeah. And also, I want to say it probably depends on, it will help out for you to get a loan too for your business if you yourself have good credit, right?
Yeah, most of the time, good credit helps. I know, again, I'm not a banker, but just from experience I have on the commercial side, when you do have an LLC, they are going to look at your credit, but they're also going to look at other things. So when you buy a house, credit is very important. But when you have a company, credit is not going to be the most important thing. They also look at other things, like your income, how much income
your
you're
credit
getting.
to debt ratio,
Your
something like
debt
that.
to income ratio, all those things. They look at your AR, your accounts receivable. Are you receiving, how much money is coming into your company? They can do loans from that. I know there's like line of credit loans that they do from the accounts receivable from the money that's going to be coming into your company.
Oh, okay.
And before we move kind of out of that subject, I do want to mention like why it's so important to have an LLC, because a lot of people ask me that, because there's people that make even over $1 million and they still don't have a company established.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's
That's
pretty
wild.
crazy. They just have a DBA or they just work under their name.
What's a DBA?
A DBA is just something that you don't get it's just doing business as. That's what DBA means.
Okay.
So it would be like Robin doing business as RDJ.
Yeah.
But that doesn't really protect you in any kind of way.
Yeah.
So that's just giving you a name, and you only register that name in that county. So if you work in different counties, you have to register in different counties, but it doesn't protect you from any type of lawsuit. So that when people ask me, why I want to get a LLC, why do you recommend me to get an LLC? It's because of that. Because here we say in US, there's lawsuits for everything. I mean, major companies like McDonald's, Starbucks, they all gotten lawsuits before. So whenever you get an LLC, that protects your personal assets, to where if you were to get a lawsuit to your company, they can only go after what's in your company. So whatever assets are in your company at that time, but they can't go for your personal house, your personal vehicles. When you have a DBA, they can go for anything because you don't have any protection. You don't have nothing that separates your company from you.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's why a couple of people who, let's say, do real estate investment or who got multiple houses, they probably will want to have different LLC for each house, or at least for 2 LLC for one house. I mean, 2 houses on the one LLC. I guess just to kind of split them up, just in case if something happens.
Yeah, so that's something that there is one LLC here in Texas, but you have to go to a lawyer to do that, and it's called a LLC Pro Series, where each house falls under a different series.
Oh, okay.
So there is a way to separate that as well.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay, and people say, okay, what else can you do when you have a LLC? I'm guessing you probably could. You'll be able to deduct some of the expenses you do for the business, right?
Yeah. So mostly with the LLC, mostly everything that has to do with the business is deductible in some type of way. A lot of things are deductible, a percentage of it, and a lot of things are fully deductible. Like we're going to be talking about, like, for example, a construction company, and if you need materials, supplies, all those things are deductibles.
Yeah. And the vehicle, does it have to be a certain weight? I always heard like it has to be at least 6,000 pounds.
It's not that it has to be, but you would get a better deduction on your mileage if it is higher than 6,000 pounds.
Yeah, and there's only like a certain amount that you could actually deduct percentage of the vehicle, right? Unless if you use it for personal or straight business, right?
Yeah, you would have to use it for business to get a full the maximum deduction that's allowed. Those deductions change every year. They always change the amounts. But it's not also that you get a deduction. You get a deduction the year that you purchase the vehicle, and you can keep deducting that as depreciation. But also your mileage. So if the vehicle is over 6,000 pounds, then this mileage deduction is better. And then that's one thing I always want to mention for mileage as well, because a lot of people just say, well, I'll take a picture at the beginning of the year, and then I'll take a picture at the end of the year. Well, that doesn't really count as a mileage record.
Yeah, you have to keep for every trip, right?
Yeah, you have to keep a log. You have to keep a log. There's also apps too. Like there's this app called Mile IQ that you can use to keep track of your trips and where you're going, and you have to keep a log of why you use that mileage.
You said Mile IQ? What?
Mile IQ.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it's
I
called.
might need to download that app.
And like for me, like I don't do a lot of driving for work. since I have a home office,
Yeah.
that helps. So I do. What you can do is fuel. So with a vehicle, you can either deduct the fuel or the mileage. So for clients, for example, I have clients that have trucks, like trailers,
Yeah.
like them, it really benefits them to do their mileage because they have so much mileage. But for a smaller business that doesn't drive a lot, maybe it's better to deduct the fuel because you really don't have that much miles.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it depends on the
Yeah,
business.
especially if it's diesel. If it's diesel's kind of expensive right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, with them is they either have to choose to deduct either the diesel or the mileage.
Oh, okay. So for example, I have 2 trucks. I'm planning to get rid of my Toyota Tundra in order and just to drive that other silver truck as my work pleasure and then work and pleasure pretty much. So I would just have to keep track of just the mileage that I use it
For work.
for work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Not bad. But like I said, or if I decide to stay with the Challenger, then I could strictly just might be able to use the Silverado just strictly for my business, and that'd be 100% deductible.
Yeah. The maximum allowable deduction.
Yeah. Now, does it have to be new or used or?
No, that doesn't matter. I had people that ask me that as well all the time.
Okay. Yeah, because everybody would think, well, maybe to make it legit, you have to buy a new vehicle.
No, it's just you have to show proof of that you bought the vehicle. And again, all this proof, sometimes the tax person might not ask for it there. Like they might ask you like when you bought the truck.
Mm-hmm.
But really all that proof is for you in case you get audited. So if you were to get audited, that's whenever they're going to be asking for the bill of sale and for that mileage log, for all those things. So whenever I submit taxes to the IRS, I don't submit all that extra documentation, but you have to make sure you have it.
Yeah.
Same as receipts. That's another big misconception that people have is that people think that just because they have a bank statement, then they're good to go and they can do all these deductions on their business. But no, because if they were ever to get audited, the IRS is not going to ask for the bank statements. They're going to ask for receipts. So I always recommend like keep receipts. And the way that I like to do it is I like to scan my receipts because receipts, the ink kind of goes away after a while. So I make sure I have a folder I have a folder for every month and every year of business. That way, if I ever get audited, I know exactly where all those receipts are.
Yeah. And probably have them in multiple drives. Do you remember what happened to me?
Yeah.
My USB just crapped out and I lost a lot of things in there.
Yeah, I use a drive called Dropbox. I really like it. It's a cloud base.
Yeah.
So even if my computer crashes, it's still gonna be in the cloud.
That's something I might want to look into, but we'll see.
And then with the LLC, you were asking too, what else you can do with it. So with the LLC, depending on how big is your business, you can decide to stay as a limited liability company, which is a sole proprietorship, or you can decide to apply for what is called the S corporation, which is a small business corporation. And that is an application that you can do after your LLC is established with the IRS.
Yeah. And when do you think somebody would want to like establish to an S corp?
So my advice is, and from the research that I have done, it doesn't really benefit unless your net income is more than $50,000. And net income, that would be the bottom line. So not what comes in, not your revenue, because your revenue could be $1 million, $2 million, but you could spend that $2 million, and
You could be in the negative.
in the negative. So what you take home at the end of the day, what you keep for yourself, if that's more than 50,000, then yes, maybe at that point you want to become an S corporation. Because what happens with S corporation is you can become an employee of your company. So whenever you're an LLC, you cannot pay yourself as an employee. So whatever's left, the net income, that is your income.
Okay.
And that's your self-employed income to report to your personal taxes. But if you, like I said, if you're making more than 50,000, at that point, maybe you do want to pay yourself as an employee and get tax
As an employee
regularly and not have to pay all the tax at the end of the year. But that's really is like a customer preference, I can tell you. Some people rather pay the tax all at the end of the year as a self-employed person, or some people rather be an employee. So it really is a preference. But some customers that are making 100, 200,000 in their LLC net income, at that point, I do recommend for them to become an S corporation, because then their tax bill is way higher.
Yeah. I could do that. Yeah. And then, and it's always a good idea to make sure you keep them separate, your business and pleasure, or your business and personal, right?
That is so important.
Yeah. But how it comes with my vehicle, I bought it through my personal 5 point. So is that going to create an issue if I try to claim that as for part of my business?
I mean, you would have to use it 100% for work since you bought it.
No, but I'm talking about for RRS. So are they going to look into my taxes, my personal taxes, if I have bought the vehicle under my personal name but using it for business?
Are you paying for it from your business account?
I haven't created a business account yet.
Yeah, so that's gonna be iffy.
I wonder if I did open up a business account. Maybe I haven't done it opening yet, but I wonder if I did open it, if I could transfer that loan from a personal.
Yeah,
to
you
business.
could. You could transfer.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I might do that maybe.
Yeah, because those things really do need to be separated. Because you can't say, "Oh, this is a business vehicle," but you're paying for it on a personal side.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go talk to my bank and make sure if I'm able to do that.
Yeah, and with that, again, that is it's very important to separate things by having those accounts. So yeah, I would go ahead and I always recommend, like, as soon as you open your LLC, go ahead and open your account.
Yeah, I should have done it a while back when you first did it, but I was literally just slacking. I should have done it.
Yeah, because if you start having expenses with your company, like if you start doing advertising things or permits or stuff, then you want to go ahead and have that account established so you can have, those charges coming out of your account.
Yeah. And like equipment, trailers and skid steers, are they're 100% deductible in like the first year, or do you have to layer them out throughout the years?
So that also depends on your choice. That's something that we would work out at the time of doing your taxes. Mm-hmm. Like it depends if you want to get the full deduction that year or if you want to stretch it out. Equipment, I don't want to be wrong right now, but it depends on which one it is. Sometimes it's either 3, 5, or 7 years, depending on the equipment, how long you can depreciate that equipment. So, for example, like if the first year of business, you didn't have a lot of income, then there's no point of getting that full deduction because once you go into the negative, you're not going to get anything. So if you didn't have a lot of income the first year, it's probably better to stretch that out because your income might increase other years, then you're gonna want that deduction for further years.
Yeah.
But it just depends. Like if the business did make a bunch of income the first year and they want to take the full deduction, then they can.
Oh, okay.
And there's also limits on that. So it's called a 179 deduction, and there's limits on how much you can deduct a year.
Oh, okay.
And also those change. Change year to year.
Yeah. How about, let's say if, I start getting busy and I need to get some help and I get like, let's say a temporary helper or whatever. And how can you track that, like paying those people?
Yeah. So that's another thing where a lot of companies, they make mistakes with that. So that would be a subcontractor. So anybody that you hire to help you, that you pay them more than $600 a year, at that point, they're a subcontractor and you have to give them a 1099 form. Okay. So if you were to hire this temporary person and they work here and there, but you never really gave them a form in January of 2027, then you're not able to deduct that amount. So you have to make sure that when you hire them, they fill a form called as a W-9, and that's where they give you either their Social Security or EIN if they're a company. And then in January, you send them that form so they can file their taxes.
Okay, so they don't have to be a company themselves. It could be a person with their Social Security number and pay them. Okay.
Yeah, and then so when I said where companies make a lot of mistakes is that they pay their employees as subcontractors, but really you have to be watchful for that because the IRS does look into those things. So an employee is somebody that would either work 30 to 40 hours a week, even if it's a part-time employee, but they're there from 8 to 5, that's an employee.
Yeah.
But some people even though they're employees, they pay them as subcontractors. But a subcontractor is somebody that just comes maybe on a Monday or just
on the weekends.
On the weekends, or like you said, temporary when you need them to be there, that would be a subcontractor.
Okay.
So you do have to know the difference.
Okay, that's good information though.
Yeah. So if you do hire somebody like that as a subcontractor, let me know. I can send you that W-9 form. And I always say it's good to get it at the beginning because if you don't, and then you try to track them down to give it to you when you need to send the 1099s, it's hard. A lot of people won't give you the information then. So it's better for you before you give them their first check, make sure that they give you the W-9.
Yeah. Or if you could send me a link where I could get that.
Yeah, I mean, you can
put it on YouTube or whatever, and so people could click on that.
Yeah, and I mean, you can Google it. It's an
yeah.
IRS form, so
Okay.
you can just Google W-9 and download.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay. So let's see. We talked about starting the business, employees, working on banks. What else you think somebody who wants to start a business will need to do?
Well, a lot of other questions another question that I always get when people are gonna open an LLC is they ask, "Do I need to have insurance?"
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
So here in Texas, you don't have to have insurance when you open an LLC. The state won't require you to have liability insurance, but it is important. I mean, I would say why not? Because really, liability insurance or general liability is what it's called for LLC is really not that expensive, and sometimes you can get cheap insurance for $1 million. So again, we're talking about lawsuits in this country. Like if you paid, I don't want to say an exact number. I think one that I have because of the type of business that I do is called errors and omissions insurance. So it's in case I make a mistake, then I can get covered. I think it's like $200,000 to $300,000 per case, and I think it cost me like $300 for the whole year.
Oh, it's not too bad.
So I know there's customers that have $1 million insurance for maybe $600 or $700 a year. So why not? Why not make that expense and have that cover you?
It's a peace of mind,
Yeah, it is the peace of mind. But again, you don't have to have it. But it depends on where you're going to work. So a lot of construction companies, once they get hired with a certain company, that certain company is the one that requires them to have either the general liability insurance or workers' compensation to protect the employees. So that's who really asks for the insurance, not the state, but really the companies that you work for.
Interesting. So I'll call it. So how many accounts do you think you're working with right now with business, and how do you keep track of all of that? It's
How many clients?
Yeah.
Right now I have bookkeeping, accounting clients. I mean, I don't know if that's something I can say, but yeah, I'm in between like 22 to 25. I am looking to grow. So if you know companies that are wanting to grow their accounting business, how do I keep track with it? Just I have help. I have helped people that help me with.
Oh yeah, I remember you hired somebody, huh?
Yeah, and then I have a company as well that helps me with the transactions, because it is one thing about bookkeeping is that it's very time consuming. So I definitely have the help. My favorite part about looking through somebody's accounting is not sitting there and categorizing the transactions, which is what an accountant does, is that you take all the transactions that customer did for the month and you categorize them. Was it supplies? Was it meals? Was it payroll? Which also do the payroll part. And then you put reports together, which are called the financial reports, like a balance sheet or profit and loss. Those reports are the things that communicate to either banks or investors or the client how their company is doing. So my favorite part, and that's why I call myself a financial analyst, is digging through those reports, looking at them, analyzing them, and seeing like what recommendations can I give the client of what they need to do to help their company next month or through the year.
What will help out people not to get audited when they're doing a business?
I mean, nothing really, because audits are random.
Really, like just random?
Yeah, it's random. I mean,
or
some people would say like sometimes some things can be red flag, like you're showing a loss for multiple years, but audits can be random. So you can be doing everything perfect and still get audited.
That's something I was gonna ask you. Like how many years can you supposed to work on a loss? Because you might be working, and I think Amazon even worked for a loss for many years before they were actually profitable. But how long do you think?
I don't know if there's like an actual law for that either, because I know like Tesla too. There was many years that they worked negative. At a huge loss for many years before they made a profit. So with stuff like that, I mean, as long as you have your documentation that you can show
that you're trying, I guess.
No, that you really lost. You know, you have to be able to show that I spent all this money. That's why you always have to keep every receipt. And that way, like for me, I wouldn't, maybe you wouldn't be scared of an audit. Like sometimes I'm scared for customers that don't have any receipts, and then they would get audited. And then the process of an audit too is not like, I guess it could be scary, but it's not as scary as they make it out to be. Like I've seen shows online. It was really funny, the show that I was watching, and it showed the IRS as a cop and like coming to the business and like tracking them down and taking them to jail and stuff. But I'm like, I don't know if it's that serious. Like people sometimes they get so scared.
Yeah, but I think they're doing that for a show, make it more dramatic.
Yeah, so people think like that's how the IRS is gonna get you, but really the IRS is lenient in that way that first they will never contact you by phone. I do want to say that because then there's a lot of scams sometimes where people think, oh, the IRS calls me. No, the IRS really doesn't call you. Like they will send you a letter. And then the letter will say, they kind of give you time. Like they say, we're going to give you an audit. Do you want to make changes? Do you want to pay this amount? And then it's up to you. It's up to you if you want to pay in or if you'd rather do the audit.
Oh, okay.
So they kind of give you like an option, you can say.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's too bad. Yeah, because I was thinking the same way. They'll come. We're here to audit you.
And then, like, I guess some of the things that can happen to you if you did file incorrect and it was wrong and you were supposed to pay more in taxes, then at that point, what would happen is you have to pay that amount that you owed plus the amount of interest and penalties that has been since the time that you filed.
How about if, let's say, if you end up cashing it before they cash it, for whatever reason, hey, I messed up my taxes. I think I owe you guys more. I won't go ahead and pay you guys.
Yeah, you can do an amendment. So one thing about taxes is you can always do an amendment and, change your taxes. I had that happen whenever I was a loan officer at the bank, and I'll have loan officers sometimes ask my clients for amendments. So what happens is having a loan, I think we talked a little bit about this last time, it's a double-edged sword with a bank because on your business, you can file and show a loss and not pay any taxes and you're happy and good to go. But then if you want to go buy a house or a bigger business or, equipment for your business or whatever, then they're going to say, well, it shows that you don't make any money, so we can't really give you a loan. So at that point, that's sometimes when customers, they will do an amendment, pay the taxes so they can show that they made more money and be able to get a loan.
Yeah, because at the end, you got proof of if you're making money.
Yeah.
If you can't prove that, like, well, can't give you the loan.
Again, the bank is not going to look at your revenue. You could have made $1 million, but if you show that you lost, then you're not going to get any loans. You still have to show that you kept some of that money. Because then how you're going to pay, the loan if you don't have any money to pay it.
Oh, here's another scenario that I was thinking about asking you. Now, you were seeing I got like a lot of property right here, right?
Yeah.
So let's say, for instance, if somehow my business grows and I get a few equipment, or a good amount of equipment, and I want to build like a nice size shop in order to store all that equipment and all that stuff, would that be deductible?
Yeah, it's just, it all depends. You can structure it different ways. Like you could either survey out a piece of land and sell it to your business, or you can rent. You can rent
like
out.
A lease or some of the lease.
Yeah, you
or
can
rent
do a
or-
lease
Okay.
to the business.
I'll be debating about trying to do something like that, but I don't know. It'd be kind of pricey.
Yeah, well, it depends on if you start growing, then you'll have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah. So what else do you think? What else needs to? We talked about audits as well too, and I don't know. That's a lot of people get scared about that.
I know. Yeah.
But any good ideas? Other points you think that is important?
I mean, I would say, I don't know if your customers, if they have some questions, they can put them on the comments and we can get back with them. But a lot of times that's how I kind of handle an appointment is somebody will come in and they want to open a LLC, then they have all these questions. And then, we go from there.
Yeah. Oh, also, I was gonna ask, if you actually start getting busy and you work and trying to keep up with the receipts and all that stuff, do you recommend people to do it like them weekly? Make sure to, be organized, keep track of it.
Yeah, I mean, whatever way they can find it, they have to keep those receipts. I mean, that's one thing that I'm always getting on my clients with is, are you keeping receipts? Are you keeping those receipts? It's either you do it. A lot of what I have to is sometimes like either the husband or the wife will help with that administration part of keeping receipts.
Yeah, I got a bad habit of just doing everything like kind of last minute, then
Yeah.
going through all the receipts. But at least when I do it for you, I bring everything kind of already kind of set already. You know what I mean?
So that's one thing that I can mention too. When people leave everything to last minute, I always tell clients that, like, when I have a client that has a company and they come to me in February and they say, I want to file my taxes and do the best thing you can for me. Yes and no, because you came too late.
Yeah.
Like everything that you're trying to do on your taxes now is for last year. So I can't help you because I don't know what happened with your company the whole year. So that's why it is important to look at the report, like again, those reports that I was saying, like to look at everything on a monthly basis, because that way you can see how your company's doing and see if you can take some tax advantages at that point, because at the end of the year, it's too late. There's nothing that you can do. You can't invest. So for example, if you have a huge gain and you needed some equipment, well, you didn't buy it. So now you're into the next year and you're going to have to pay I had customers pay $20,000-$30,000 in taxes. And I'm just talking small, because a lot of my companies are small business, maybe under 4 million. And that money they could have used to put a down payment on an equipment that they really needed.
Yeah.
So stuff like that, I think, is very important to be looking at for a business on a monthly basis and not last minute at the end of the year, because then you lose out.
Yeah. Do you provide that service where if somebody didn't want to do that side of accounting stuff on a monthly basis, where they could actually give you all the receipts, everything like this, and then you keep track of it? You provide that type of service?
Yeah. So there's two types of services that I do with that. Is whenever I do my clients' bookkeeping, I use their bank statement, and I always tell them, use your bank, because that way I can get everything from there. And then if they buy anything cash, then that's whenever they send me a receipt, and they keep the receipts themselves. So that is a cheaper service, you can say, because they're having the receipts. But if I'm keeping track of the receipts, I charge more. But yes, I can do that as well.
Okay.
And I scan them. I scan them in and save them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And one thing I was gonna say as well too, that I just remember, when somebody buys from, let's say you want to buy equipment from a regular person, so they won't be able to provide you like a receipt, only a bill of sale. Is that still?
Yeah, you have to show something. You have to show proof. Because I had it where sometimes I had a customer, for example, like he went and bought a truck from somebody, cash, and they didn't get a receipt or anything. So I'm like, so how can we deduct it? There's no way that we can, show. So then he did went and tracked down the guy to get a bill of sale.
Bill of sale.
Yeah,
okay.
so you have to make sure you have proof.
Okay. Because I remember when I did buy that truck, there were people, they were from like Houston, a little bit past Houston. They wrote me a bill of sale, but it was all crazy. Well, it was a little weird situation because the woman, she had moved here with her boyfriend, and she was from California. So her credit union from California she's still owed on it. So I was like, it's gonna be kind of tricky, because my bank would have to send her bank the check or whatever. Then you have to wait to make sure everything's straight. So it's like, it was kind of iffy, I mean, I was like, man, you know what? I'll try it out, see what happens.
Yeah, you have to. There's so much scam out there. I remember maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, we were selling my brother's bike. He had a Harley Davidson bike, and I would post it like on SoutheastTexas.com.
Yeah.
And I would get like all these offers. And I mean, I would see like a lot of it would seem like I'd rather want you to come get the bike, so I can give you the money.
Yeah.
But this lady, she said she was out of town and that she would send like a delivery service to come get the bike, and she was gonna mail the check.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well let me try. And she did. Like there was a check that was mailed, but the check was bad.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that happened to me a long time ago, where they sent me a check for $1,000, and I knew it was a scam because the guy said, "Oh, well, go ahead, let's cash it in, and then send me $200 or whatever." I was like, that don't sound right. But yeah, the only reason I did it with this truck is because I actually, since they were around Houston, we were able to meet up in Houston, and I was able to like test drive it and look at the truck and get a feel of the boyfriend, the guy, because he brought the truck to work, so that way I could see it. And you know, sometimes you gotta give it a little sense. You know, okay,
Yeah.
truck is pretty clean. I don't see no major issues. It runs good, and the vibe I get from the guy is they seem like they're like legit people. So that's the only reason why I kind of pulled the trigger and got the truck.
Yeah, I guess from saying that, not talking about scams, like it reminded me, same thing with LLCs. Like when you open an LLC, I don't know if you remember, like at first you start getting all these letters in the mail.
Oh yeah,
And a lot of it is scam. A lot of it is advertising. So you have to watch on those too, because like when you do open an LLC, a lot of people don't know that that's public information. Like all your information is out there now for everybody to see. So a lot of those advertising companies, they'll start sending you stuff. Oh, you need this, you need this, but you really don't need it.
yeah. Just like when you buy a house,
Yeah.
same thing.
Oh yeah, I'm still getting stuff. Yeah, when you buy a house, they start sending you all kind of stuff.
Yeah. So man, I don't know what else we got. Any more else?
I did thought about another important thing, which is when it comes to taxes, a lot of people don't know that with LLC, there's two types of taxes that you pay, which is either the federal taxes, and on those you can pay them at the end of the year, or you can send estimate tax payments every 4 months to the IRS. That way you're not trapped with your whole tax bill, you know, at the end of the year.
Okay.
And then you actually have to pay a penalty if you don't send those estimated tax payments every quarter. But there's also another type of tax here, and I'm speaking directly here in Texas because we're in Texas, which is the sales tax to the Texas comptroller. So there is a lot of laws on the sales tax of who pays sales tax. So that is, again, something on a customer basis where I would say, yes, you have to pay sales tax or you don't have to pay sales tax. A lot of it is products. Like if you sell products, then you definitely have to pay sales tax. And then services, some services are taxable and some are not.
Yeah. Okay. So, you guys I'm very slow when it comes to that. So if I go buy an equipment, a trailer from a company, do I have to pay taxes for it up front?
No, so that's not what I'm talking about with the sales tax. That is something that, and I'm gonna say the easiest one, like a restaurant. So a restaurant, they have to pay sales tax. And depending on how much your sales tax bill is, you either have to do it on a monthly basis or every 3 months. And usually if your tax bill is more than 1,000, then it has to be every month. If it's less than 1,000, it's every quarter. So a restaurant, every time, you know, if you look at your receipt, it shows on there the sales tax, which here in Texas is 8.25. So that's something that you have to make sure you charge the customer, because if not, you as a company will be paying that tax. So you charge the customer your 8.25, and then you collect all that amount, and at the end of the month, well, the next month, you'll be paying that to the comptroller. So that's what the sales tax is.
And taxes.
Yeah. And that one is one that is so iffy because customers always, like, for example, you know, they're collecting their sales tax throughout the month, and then their sales tax bill is $3,000, and they feel like, oh, I'm paying $3,000. But really, they didn't pay for it. It was the customer that paid. But because you don't see it in the little amounts, you see the big amount that you're paying to the comptroller.
Yeah, I have to do more deep dive on that just so I could get it in my head. Okay, this is how it works.
And then that's one that I had to mention too, because a lot of people, they kind of get behind on those again because bad bookkeeping, I would say, or bad money management of their company. That they're spending all their money, they're not keeping the tax to pay to the comptroller, so then they get behind on their taxes. And I actually had it where the comptroller is freezing the bank accounts if they don't pay that tax.
Yeah, so I'm sure probably on the internet they have some type of cheat sheet where it kind of helps you out. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, you can always, they can give me a call. And we can talk about it. All
Go ahead, guys. You guys know, call her up. She helps us. She knows her stuff. So you know, I'll probably end up calling you a few times. Hey, can I get this? I should work this out.
That's usually what I offer with my bookkeeping package. Is I offer to do it's a one price depending on how much the company makes, and I do their bookkeeping every month. I do their payroll. I send them those reports that we were talking about, where I give them recommendations of what they need to do, and I also have consultations with them if they have questions. Like a lot of customers, they still have questions on, is this deductible? Is this not? Like I just had some customers that went to the World Cup, and then they saw that I told them that wasn't deductible, and they're like, well, we took the employees. I'm like, yeah, but it's a new law came where no entertainment is deductible. Before, back in the day, you could deduct some entertainment,
really?
but now like nothing entertainment is deductible.
Oh, really?
So they spend some pretty good money on those tickets.
And I bet they were hoping they were able to.
Yeah,
Like, nope.
but they can't.
Yeah.
So stuff like that. Sometimes I get a lot of those questions where customers call me.
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
I do this? Can I not do this?
Yeah, I guess the U.S. business owner, you have to keep track of the laws as well too.
Yeah.
Change because I remember that for a while there, they were trying to change, do this law where, or anything, if you pay anything over $600 or $600 or over $600 on Venmo or third party payment, they were gonna be able to track that. But I think that they did pass it, but they weren't actually pushed it, and then I think it fell off. I want to say.
Well, it depends. What I've seen this past year in taxes, it depends how much you make. Like those companies will send out a form or not. And then if they do send out a form, but it wasn't business, like there's a place in the tax form where we can adjust it and say, that it wasn't business, it was personal. But yeah, depending on how much you got a year, they are sending those forms.
Oh, okay. But be careful, guys. Even if you just sell things, probably better to get cash nowadays.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, man, I think you answered a lot of questions I had. I don't know if any more.
I hope I didn't confuse you with some of that. Right?
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
there's just so much to talk about.
Yeah, I think the one spot that still is that what I could not pay taxes on. That's the part that I think it's gonna take me, which I need to learn as well too, because at work, since I'm dealing with a lot of contractors, some things we can be tax exempt tax, and some things we can't. It just depends,
Yeah, so that's one thing that I would say we could have like a separate
Yeah,
consultation on that,
yeah.
because it is very like specific.
Yeah, because I
what you're
think
doing.
like for in my job we do kilns or whatever, or Coke, not the black Coke, not the white Coke. But it tells me if we do a service on the production of it, where it's actually producing it or doing the process, I think the services that we get from a contractor is tax exempt. But if it's something not in the process of it, then it's not tax exempt, something like that. So I need to make myself more knowledgeable about that area. Hey, but now I got you.
Yeah, you can always go, like, I know on the Texas Comptroller site, they have a lot of specifics on there too, where they will tell you like this is taxable, this is not taxable.
Yeah.
So there's a good resource there.
And for the viewers, how can they get a hold of you?
So the best way to get a hold of me is through my phone number, which is 409-217-1895. But I'm also available through my email, on social media. That's one thing I wanted to mention. I'm always working on evolving my social media. So right now I'm working on a new evolvement of my social media where I do reels, like not like this, long podcast, but I try to do 30-second.
TikTok, Instagram.
Not TikTok. I do Instagram and Facebook. But I try to do 30-second videos to not bore people, just of important subjects. And my social media is evolving more into that, which is more of really not just telling them what accounting is, but giving customers tips of how they can make their company better.
Yeah, I want to say like Facebook putting content for like local community. I think it's better for that.
Yeah, I try to focus really on local and Texas, because we're here in Texas, so I try to focus on Texas law.
Yeah. All right, but yeah, all that your information, I'll put that under the description. They'll be able to click it and find you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you for having me. And
well, it might be the last one, like I told you.
I would be. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be here.
Yeah, my last one there, huh? But we'll see. Might move the podcast to the main house or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I told you this off camera before. I think this is great what you're doing and helping, me and other business owners. So keep doing it.
Yeah.
Don't. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. All right, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy the show, and see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Breaking news or cool interviews, we keep it real, no scripted cues. From wild debates to heartfelt seatbelt tail, strap in tight, this train never derails. We bring the vibes, the beats won't stop. Tune in now, we rise to the top. Laugh, cry, shout, feel every drop. This podcast here is cream.